Matt Taibbi, one of the things I hate next to leprosy is the idea of labeling. And people say, oh, because they think, air America, this. I don't consider myself a liberal, a progressive, a conservative, a nothing. I am me.
Right.
How do you describe you?
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. I hate it when people use the term liberal or left-leaning or any of those words. That doesn't really coincide very accurately with a lot of my beliefs, actually. I think liberal during the Bush years became a synonym for dissident or anybody who had an opposition view.
Un-American?
Yeah, exactly. Un-American. It became
You don't support the troops?
Right. It's a pejorative term.
Yeah.
And it became kind of tainted. I think so. We have to find a new term to use. I mean, if you're going to use any word, progressive is a word I prefer.
I love that one because that one came overnight, and for years, the people who I think were faux conservatives, counterfeit conservatives, people who didn't know William F. Buckley or Barry Goldwater from A Hole in the Ground. These were bumper sticker Republican acolytes, cookie cutter, echo chamber. You ever meet these people that say, hello, yes, I'm a conservative Republican, and I'm to the right of Attila the Hun.
Right, yeah. I actually met a guy who said that very thing, yeah.
It's like a Miranda card. You are sworn to repeat this stupidity. And I said, well, actually, Attila the Hun was a socialist. But that's another story. But I've read and heard your stuff, and let me tell you, tell me something, Matt Taibbi from Rolling Stone in real time, that you believe in or you feel that might shock people who think you're just another one of those I hate Republican lefties.
I think Roe v. Wade. I don't agree with that decision necessarily. And
wait a minute, hold it right here. We have an exclusive.
And not because I'm anti-abortion. It's for the same reason that I think that states should be allowed to make their own drug laws. I believe that. Generally speaking, there aren't all decisions shouldn't be made at a federal level. I think states should have some leeway to make important decisions.
Please don't take this the wrong way. I think you're 100% correct.
Really?
And believe it or not, this is scary, Matt. Is that from my years of the law school thing and reading cases, what Scalia? I know people who hate Scalia. I hate him. Why? I'm supposed to. What he's saying, and others, is that the Constitution, you don't necessarily need it to provide for the ability to do something. And many people have said that the notion of Harry Blackmun's privacy that he created from the Griswold, the penumbra, and
well, privacy isn't an innate right.
Well, that's what Blackmun did,
right?
In order to create. So when people say, at least I could see you saying, I believe in a woman's reproductive rights. I believe a woman should not be subject to criminal prosecution if she were to. However, I don't think Roe versus Wade is the best vehicle for that.
Right. I absolutely agree, and I think it's decisions like that have created this gridlock that we have in American politics. If you go to places in the South. For instance, you talk to conservative Republicans, the things that they're most angry about is this notion that there are, liberals up here in the North that are telling them how to run their business. And, if you ask me what's more important, should I be telling somebody in Alabama whether or not they can pray in their schools, or, do I want them to organize and elect George Bush president? I'd much rather let them, live the way they want to live in their communities, and have them get their hands off the way I want to live in my community.
Now, how is Hillary Clinton going to do as Secretary of State? If
I don't know, I'm still trying to get my head around the fact that she was chosen as Secretary of State.
Man, I'm glad you say this because a lot of people are saying no, this was brilliant on Obama's part.
Why do
you
when
have
people
a problem
suggested that Hillary Clinton might become Secretary of State, I said, no way, there's no way after everything that happened last year that Barack Obama is going to invite the Clintons into the White House to, set up camp, I mean, they put their teepees on the first floor of the White House. No way, but politically it just doesn't make any sense to me unless they made some kind of deal about something during the course of the year.
No. Really? The deal with the Clintons? No.
Right.
What about Bill Richardson? This poor guy. I mean, commerce.
Well, it's a cabinet job. I mean, it's something.
Or is he just happy? It's like, hey, look, I'm not looking for anything. John Kerry. Somebody pointed out the fact that it's not about loyalty because John Kerry was behind Obama, John Kerry was passed over for Secretary of State. And,
Right.
And, what about, did you hear that Chris Matthews is looking to run for Senate in Pennsylvania?
Chris Matthews?
Chris Matthews.
Is this a joke?
Hardball. No. Boy, that just said it right there. Is this a joke? Two guys walk into a bar. No, Chris Matthews wants to go after either Specter. Specter doesn't, his health may be a problem. And
Well, if I had to choose between Chris Matthews and Arlen Specter, I might actually choose Chris Matthews. I mean,
it's that bad?
Yeah. I mean, Arlen Specter is the biggest windbag in America. Well, maybe he isn't. There's a lot of competition for that title.
Where do you see the next 5 years? Is country looking good, better? Because Obama, I think, is going to surprise people. He's going to surprise. I hate to use these short terms. The left, because he ain't as left as you think,
right?
And he's going to surprise the right because he's more sensible than they thought.
Right. I think there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be surprised in a lot of different directions. I completely agree with you that. The left certainly is going to find a lot to be disappointed about, I think, and I think you're already seeing some signs of that with the nomination of people like Tom Daschle, and even the fact that somebody like John Brennan was even considered for the CIA post is pretty unbelievable, actually, that he would go that far in that direction. And but all of this stuff is going to become irrelevant if they don't clean up this financial crisis and get some of this stuff under wraps, because it's basically
because this knows no parallel. Matt, this knows no parallel in the world.
Right.
As far as, the Depression's one thing, but we haven't even begun to feel it. Have you ever held a child up right on waist level and he kicks you right in the groin, and you realize it takes a couple of seconds before you feel the pain, but you realize, I'm going to be in some severe pain starting about now.
Right.
That's the way I see Wall Street.